We begin the news at 6 with a story we've been following all day. If you drove near Fairview Avenue in Boise this morning, you probably saw the area between Curtis and Liberty blocked off. Police say an officer shot a man who was in the middle of the road, getting in the way of traffic. Our Shira Matsuzawa was live on scene during the news at noon as this was breaking earlier. She joins us now in studio. Shira, first of all, how are that officer and that man doing?
Say the officer wasn't hurt in the shooting. The man shot was taken to the hospital and he is expected to be okay. But as you can imagine, that stretch of Fairview is a fairly busy area and impacted businesses as well as people traveling to and from work earlier today. Evidence markers and crime scene tape. Fairview Avenue closed off for a few hours Tuesday afternoon after Boise police shot a man.
Callers reported that there was what they believe the driver of the vehicle trying to flag down other cars, and they were concerned for his welfare.
Boise Police Chief Ryan Lee says this all started just after 9:45 in the morning. An officer dressed in uniform arrived on scene in an unmarked police car. Chief Lee explained what happened next.
Had a brief interaction with the individual, and during that interaction, events transpired that made the officer feel compelled to discharge his weapon, wounding the individual, and he immediately began life-saving measures.
Operations manager at the Boise Computer Depot, Dustin Stevens, says he saw the commotion as he headed into work.
I passed a belligerent man in the middle of the road. He seemed to have just gotten out of his truck, and he was kind of in front of the car behind him, and he was screaming at the lady in her car. 20 minutes later, computer technician Garrett Gwinnett, who lives down the street, says he saw a man in the middle of the road as he walked to work.
I see this guy just waving, screaming at people.
A short time later, he watched as the unmarked police car pulled up to the scene.
I did see at one point that they were talking opposite sides of a red Dodge vehicle, and through the window they were talking. The guy seemed like he was kind of maintaining his distance a little bit, and then after a little while he walked around the vehicle and looked like, from my point of view, was a handshake was being initiated. And then I walked away at that point, and I came back about 5-6 minutes later to seeing him on the ground behind the vehicle.
As officers reopened Fairview Avenue, Chief Lee emphasized the investigation into this shooting only now beginning. And Dustin, who you heard from, told me this did impact their business since Fairview was shut down for a few hours and people couldn't come in or out. Meantime, Chief Lee says the man involved will be facing charges for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon on a police officer once he's released from the hospital, and they do expect that he'll be released. He adds if anyone has video or pictures of what happened, they ask you send those to the Ada County Sheriff's Office, who is leading the Critical Incident Task Force. Morgan?
Yeah, Shira, we know that information is very limited as CITF investigates officer-involved shootings like this. Shira Matsuzawa, thank you.